Hello there everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, Better Than Starting Manned. My name is Gord and we are back here at the Kerbal Space Center. So that Minmus mission was a pretty solid flight. I'm really happy with it. And I have fortunately received some very solid advice on what tech to take out of these last three that I need at this tier. And it was very cleverly mentioned that the 2.5 meter heat shield is rather necessary to get a mission back from the moon intact. So, 2.5 meter heat shield it is. Problem solved. That was easy. So, now we need to design a ship. So, we have a 500 ton lift limit at this point. The question is, could we design a 20 ton ship that could pull this trip off in relatively reasonable order? Because we're only going to do the orbital flight. This isn't going to be a lander. We're short a few pieces of hardware for a lander, and I'd much rather, make sure I've got all the technologies for that tier before trying that out. Alright, so we know we're going to need a stacked decoupler here. Oh, we got the big one too. Okay. Now let's make sure... Let's see. Yeah, we got to make sure it's attached to the right spot. That looks right. I think that's okay. Okay. So you need to not use your electric charge or your monopropellant. Now let's see. How are we going to do this? Is there anything else we need to do while we're at the moon? Not really. So we can put the parachute. We can use the 16XL parachute on top rather than radial parachutes for this one. So that's good. Okay, so that is 6.78 tons already. And we're going to need our Mooner transition stage. I think it's going to be touch and go to pull this off. Alright. Right. No, we're not going to use the big one. That would be silly. No, we'll use the... Yeah, okay. So this is the part that's going to be a little iffy. So we need to make sure that this is attached to the right location on the docking port. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, see, there's the bad one. There's the goodish one. Okay. So 6.63 tons, and we don't even have any batteries on this thing yet. So it's a hefty beast. So I think we're going to need... Can we even do this? No, I think the payload is going to have to be larger than it was before. Boy, I wish I had the larger tanks, though. That would look so much nicer. This is going to look so ugly. We need at least 3 engines, or 3 tanks, radially, for stability. Yeah, no, there's just no way. This is not going to happen with a payload this small. Because now we're at 17, and we don't even have batteries on this yet. And for a Mooner shot, we're going to have at least 3 batteries. Maybe? No, we don't have RCS on here either. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, well, this is going to be called the Lunar Orbiter Mark 1. I mean, the more battery power we take with us, the better. That's the long answer short, right? So the more of this we take, the better off the whole mission will go. That can be enough? Possibly. Okay, well, let's see. If we were to assume that we're going to do something similar to our Minmus flight, for all intents and purposes, we're going to want... This made a huge difference. Saved us massive quantities of RCS on the Minmus trip. Alright. So, let's see. This pod takes... By the way, this is probably going to be a design day, so I apologize. Let's see. Power. Life support 30 per Kerbal per minute, using 12.38 electric charge per minute. We're only going to send 1 Kerbal, so that will save us quite a bit of electric charge, or life support. So electric charge is going to be our limit. So, let's do a tiny bit of math here. I will pull my phone out, because I don't want to tab out of this while I'm thinking. So at this point we have 4 times 3 is 12 800 unit batteries. So 12 times 800. It's 9,600 electricity, or 9,600 units of electricity, divided by 12.38 per minute. We need 775 minutes from this much battery power. 775 minutes divided by 60 is 12 hours. Wow, that's not very long. Is that really it? Wow. Yep. No, that's right. That's it. 12 hours worth of juice on this thing. That's kind of scary. So what is our return? No, that's too tight. Okay, well, 12 hours worth of juice is, let me see, I'd have to go look at my transit times in the past for getting to and from the moon, but my instinct is that that is not as much as I have used in the past. Alright, so assuming that is the case, and we are over the 20-ton limit now. So what's the next tier? There is something we could do instead. So let's just leave this, let's just design this as if we're going to do sort of the next plan. And then I'm going to have to check my math on previous lunar flights, see what they looks like. But in the meantime, we can think about if this is how we have to do it, then what we need is just a little anchoring around the radial. So we've got RCS, although that may not even be enough RCS now with the size of this ship is getting. But we do have the, that's okay, we got the inline the reaction wheel, which is going to start disabled. Well, let's get out of here. So the thing we could do, this is the thing we could do. It would be a bit of a tester, but we need to design, if we're going to have to go over the 20-ton limit to get this mission to work, that says to me that we're going to need to fly a larger payload. And it just so happens that we have not one, not two, but 3 medium payloads. Each medium payload weighing 10 tons. So if we can do a 30-ton payload to orbit, if we can design a 30-ton lifter from using these components right here, closing that. So that takes us over to, instead of worrying about this, we can go new ship, and we need to decide what exactly will it take to get 3 of these into orbit. 2, 3, each one with a docking port in between them. It's lighter. Oh yeah, these by far are lighter. That goes there. That goes there. This is just because there's a mention about them possibly getting removed or relocated in the future. Okay, so this is our payload. This is the actual representation of the payload we will eventually have to do. 30.1 tons. Okay. All right, and we're going to need one of these on each end. There we go. Okay, so for a flight into orbit, so if this is the payload, so what we're going to need is a probe core that's going to act as the actual, and actually that's what we should have added first. So let's do this properly. Oh, let's get a probe core as our first thing. What the heck has just happened here? Okay, let me get a probe core. I might actually have to make a new, yeah, okay, new ship. What's going on? Exit. All right, that went weird. I made it very sad all of a sudden. Clicking the wrong button a whole bunch of times. So getting that much more power payload into orbit is going to require... No? Okay, I'm just having some trouble with my computer. Okay, so docking ports. Docking ports. Come on, you stupid thing. There we are. That goes right there. I'm going to get the three of these. And then the last docking port. Okay. There's our payload plus the command core that's actually in charge of the whole business. 1, 2. Okay. So we need an RCS fuel tank under here. That's going to act as the... all right, oh yeah, we need 4 RCS there, 4 RCS right here, and then the next step is the... so in the past we've done this as a 2-stage system. We're going to assume... So in the 2-stage system, let's see, if we let's just pull out the subassembly, our current 20-ton lifter as currently designed. Let's see. We'll just, no, don't lock to a target. There we are. Okay. So it uses 5 engines and, let's see, 5 engines with this much fuel on them. So what if we were to do, because we have a 500-ton payload limit, we'll just, let's just do it this way. We'll throw the engines we're going to use on here. LVT-30, oh wait, no, we got the 45s now. Okay, that's good. So what if we were to do 6 of these on the uppermost stage? Still would work. It's still enough hardware. I think what we're going to have to do is a little trick here. Put 1 on right there. Okay, so this is a third as much fuel as we had before. 5, 6. Yes, okay, that worked. 1 there. 1 there. Okay, and then 6-way symmetry up to here to act as sort of a structural integrity rig. Perfect. Okay. So we have a third again as much fuel here now as we had before. Yeah, we have 6 tanks where we have 7 tanks where we had 5 before. So now the next stage down will have to be that much larger again as well. And this stage had 6 tanks already using the Rockomax engine, but no extra fuel on the Rockomax. So let's see. So it means we're going to need a appropriate stacked coupler right there, and a tank of, yeah. So and then we start. Yeah, okay, we're not going to worry about trying to recover this time around. This is going to be just a little too complex for that. What do we have in the way of engines right now? We do not have the next tier Rockomax engines yet, so it's definitely going to have to be the quad adapters on this. So can we get enough guts out of this thing to actually lift this monstrosity here? How would this work? So we don't have any new radial rockets. The best solid rocket boosters we have at the moment are these guys. So what can we do? Could we put more of these on? Could we do 4 of these? That would be pretty cool. 300 tons to put 4 of those on there. Well, if that works, that'll look pretty awesome. I don't know if it's going to work though. But maybe we should try it just for kicks. We're going to be reverting to launch. So why don't we try this design out and just see what happens. Because for kicks and giggles. Hold on. That got stuck in a way I did not want. There we are. Alright, you to there. One of these to here. Now this section has these have alternators, so we don't have to worry about that. This does not need very much battery power to deorbit, so the deorbiting power supply is going to be very little. In fact, we'll just put the 4 of these on and call it good. That's just enough power to get it out of orbit, and that's about it. I'm still not sure that's going to be enough fuel, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So if we assume that that's rigid enough, now we're going to need fins for the aerodynamic controls. Delta Deluxe. That's the ones we need right there. Now, how much weight can these launch adapters hold? Well, we'll find out if that's going to be adequate. Because the other thing we're going to do, no, we don't want those boosters close to the fins. We want the fins to have maneuverability, which means that they're going to have to go here and here. We're going to take this one over by one, like so. Excellent, okay. There we are. Those two can go there. That gives us that extra boost off of launch, just like we've had before. We'll anchor those like that. Those like that. And then we're going to test fly this thing right now. Should be called 30-ton lift prototype. Okay. And, oh, we got to get rid of all this extra garbage here, because this has served its purpose for the most part. Okay, and then we need to check our staging. So first of all, that decoupler, these engines. All these engines and nothing else. And there's nothing on the top stage. So I think we're going to at least see if this thing gets off the launch pad. I'm not actually going to fly this thing into orbit right this instant, because I got to step away from the game for a little while shortly. But we're going to at least see if this thing lifts. If it sits on the launch pad and looks completely, you know, toast, we'll fly it until the boosters give out, and we'll see what happens. Because it could just run completely out of juice in no time here. This also could be gross overkill. That's also entirely conceivable. Alright, oh, I already see something we forgot. You saw the way it sagged there? As soon as I fired that engine off, that thing was going to just break right into pieces. We need this from here. We're going to need 4 of them from here to anywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4 anchored. Good enough. It's not symmetric, but that's what happens when you go from 4 radial engines to 6 radial engines. I also didn't look at how much it costs to launch this thing. This is going to be a pretty expensive chunk of ship. But this is the prototyping phase, so I'm going to test this, and then I will probably do some redesign off camera, and we'll see what happens. So without any further ado, SAS on, launching in 3, 2, 1. Well, it lifts. So far so good. In fact, it lifts kind of impressively. The question will be, when these solid rocket boosters run out, what are we going to be looking at? That's actually rather impressive. It's a stubby little thing though, isn't it? Oh boy. Those engines are overheating a lot. Well, that is a lot of heat production there. Okay. We are losing speed just like we always do. The question is, how low will it go before we lose it completely? Promising. Very promising indeed. Heat levels are okay. Speed is staying solid. It's stable. I forgot RCS thrusters on the lower part of this stage, so it's going to be a little bit unstable. Definitely going to need probably a little bit more RCS on the middle stage. But I think this might just work. This might just work. But I am definitely going to have to tweak this before I do any more, so we're going to call it there. We're going to revert to launch, or revert to assembly, and I'm going to step away for a few minutes, and when we come back we will test this thing going right to orbit. Just before I forget, I'm going to do the first thing. I'm going to review over this design a little before we actually fly it. But at this instant in time, we are going to throw our appropriate RCS there, and we're going to make sure that that's balanced here. There. Okay. I'll be back before you know it. Alrighty, guys. Sorry about the interruption. It's been 24 hours since I was actually working on this last. I've incorporated a couple of ideas I had. And before we launch, I need to check one last thing. First of all, I have this feeling that this might be able to actually do 40 tons, not 30, which would be really cool. So we're going to try it with a spare empty commercial payload. They cost nothing to launch when I have them, so I might as well try an extra 10 tons and see what happens. I added the missing RCS thrusters at the bottom end of the second stage. And what I've added is an extra cycle of solid boosters, which are set to go off as a separate stage. I figure if I set these off at the instant that the first set of boosters comes off, I might be able to get to an elevation where I will lose less speed during the handover to just the fuel engines. Anyways, let's just go and check one thing before we fire this thing into space, because budget, don't you know? We need to check our budget. So, we are launching 3 medium payloads for 56, so we'll call it 55 just for easy math. 55 plus 55 is 110, plus 60 is 170,000, okay? The ship that we have designed costs, it's the $1 million question, 85,000 to launch. So about 50% of the cost of this ship is covered by 2 of the 3 payloads. So it's not as efficient for two modules. The best ship is still the one we've been using before, but for 3, this is economical. 160,000. You say 170,000 versus 85,000. That's just about 50%. Okay, well, let's find out if this is going to work. Here we go. Now the ship automatically assigns the payloads. So this will be the official test. If this goes horribly, horribly wrong, I will still revert to launch. But if this goes right, we'll call it good. Okay? Because testing. Yeah. Or revert to VAB. So, hey now. Aren't these supposed to be assigned? Well, let's try launching and see what happens. Full throttle, launching in 3, 2, 1, liftoff. There we are, yep, it did. It just auto-assigned them at the instant of takeoff. Beautiful. So here we go. The resources being observed. Of course, I didn't set this thing up to be actually retrievable, but you know what, we'll just deal. Of course, with the new parachutes, it would be more doable than it has been with the previous one. The XL parachutes are just a tiny bit better. It feels like there should be something down in the bottom right corner. I don't know what it is, but something... Oh, right, that's in the VAB. Never mind. I'm a little tired. Had a busy couple of days. Okay, here we go. Handover to the second set of engines. Good. So far, so good. That's what we wanted to see. No loss of speed in the first section of the flight. We handed over to an extra set of solid rocket boosters, which, yeah, will buy us a much higher elevation before we are into the less engine power. And it might make the difference in terms of how much speed we lose. And speaking of losing speed, if we're going to, that moment is coming in just a second here. Here we go. 73 down to 60, 61.5. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 60, 73. Yeah, we lost about 10 meters per second. It's not bad. And it's a lot easier to recover higher in the atmosphere. I don't think it cost us nearly as much fuel to regain that speed as it did in the previous design. So that'll do until we get larger solid rocket boosters. Okay, it's rotation time. Right, they've got a thrust vectoring, don't they? There we go. Lock it on right there. A little further. Beautiful. Okay, 45 degrees. Next up will be hand over to stage 2. And let's hope for the best on that. So yeah, we'll just, this extra empty payload will just be left in orbit. It's not the end of the world. Not a big deal. Well, so far so good. So far so good. If this works, we'll, a 40-ton budget will give us lots to work with to get a mission to the moon and back. With a manned capsule. Okay, preparing for handover. And now. It's amazing how far these big tanks go. Here we go. And onward. Oh yeah, no problem. This upper stage is quite powerful. Plenty powerful. In fact, yeah, it's pretty stable too. Okay, we'll kill the engines as soon as it tops out over about 71 kilometers. A little bit more rotation to the thing. No reason not to at this stage. C2. Just a little further. C9, 72. Okay. Alright, let's do a quick orbital burn plan. I know approximately what it takes to do this these days, but always nice to have a nice clean marker to work with. 67, as long as that apoapsis isn't going up too much. 75, 67. There we are. 71, 72. Perfect. That is the burn we need. 1 minute and 2 seconds of burn. So we'll start that at T-minus 30 or so. Okay. Right on our mark. Okay. Getting ready for our burn here. In fact, we might do it just a bit earlier to make sure nothing goes horribly wrong. So here we go. Boom. Excellent. We are on the move. 50% of a tank left of these things. It's looking good for this design. This new lifter looks like it's going to work. Come on, keep it going. Keep pushing that up. So far so good. Right on the marker right now. I am not chasing that thing. Chasing the maneuvering node when we're pointed right at the prograde marker is generally not a good idea. Okay, getting ready to stop. There we are. Because the marker's gone a little out of control there. Let's just keep it on slow power here. We don't want to put anything into the apoapsis if we can help it. Kill that. It's not helping us anymore. Don't have a lot of fuel left, but I think it's going to be enough. 52. We're just trying to do this nice and gently so that we don't lose control of our flight here. 78, so 970. 2. That is a nice round orbit. Alrighty, everybody. This will lift 40 tons. That's a nice answer. I like to hear that this will lift 40 tons. Works for me. Well, deliver, deliver, deliver. Nothing there. Decouple node. Reverse away from our target. Rotate to retro. And that is that. That is a solid little chunk of ship right there. That is going to do the job for our Mooner mission quite nicely. But that, of course, is going to have to wait until our next episode. So I hope you've all enjoyed. Good. All right, we're getting further away from it. Here we go. Deorbiting. Done. Done and done. There's actually a little bit of fuel to spare in here even. Not more than I would want to. Not so much that I would want to push past the 40-ton mark, but that is a solid 30-ton prototype. All right, we're definitely hitting the ground now, so let's go to the Space Center. Because this thing, as usual, let's watch it explode. In fact, let's see if it makes it through the atmosphere. If we can get this thing through the atmosphere, that would be kind of cool. Of course, I didn't put parachutes on it, which was probably foolish, but you never know. There we go. It's probably going to explode because I actually gave that quite a bit of downward action. Let's see. Well, 4 times speed. Lock it on. Oop, air buffeting. Down we go. That is some nice wacky physics going on right there, isn't it? Okay, the RCS is probably not helping too much there. Okay. Let's see what happens. I doubt anything exciting is going to happen. But in case it does, anything more interesting than it exploding like it usually does, which we're going to watch from a nice long distance just for fun. Because we're coming down really fast. Yeah, here we go. Just rotate it a little bit more towards perfect. Okay. RCS off. That's as good as it's going to get. Yeah, oh yeah, this thing's going. Beautiful. There it goes. Maybe? Oh, those were the RCS thrusters. Whew. Wow. Goes in. Oh, there they go. There we go. That just looks so awesome. I do like the new explosions, have to say. Still, a definitive success. Another satellite in orbit, and we have what will now be called our 40-ton lifter. And 3 completed contracts. Can't argue with that. So, that's all for now. In the next episode, we will finish designing our 40-ton Mooner payload and possibly include an extra mission or 2 on it, depending on how things look. But this can be promoted to subassembly. Preferably with the this all gone. This will be called our 40-ton lift. There we go. And that should give us one of those right there. Yep. All right. That's all for today, everyone. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.